このアイスでなければ見れない夢がある。ロッテの雪見大福。
What is the problem?
The new machine is acting up. Bars are bigger.
Yeah, bigger.
What do you suggest?
As your immediate supervisor, I needn't tell you the procedure. Call the boss. That's correct. You don't only know how much he likes that machine.
It's his baby.
Rules are rules. Call the boss. Correct.
You know, he dedicated that machine to his mother.
I think you were on vacation. He loves it very much.
Any suggestions?
Introducing bigger mounds and bigger almond joy. The chocolate's bigger, the coconut's bigger, everything's bigger.
A presidential hopeful reveals his cabinet.
My cabinet will be filled with honesty, integrity, and real satisfaction. 9 lives. What would you expect from a finicky president?
Vote 9 lives, a more satisfying choice.
Help! We've been robbed!
Stop, evildoers. Introducing super stretching superhero Stretch Armstrong. Yes, Stretch Armstrong. Now stretching fun farther than ever before. He bends, he stretches, even ties and knots, but always returns to his original shape. How'd he do that? He's been doing that since he was a kid. Stretch Armstrong from Cat Toys. Who else?
チョコをコーティングしました。明治チョコスティッキー新発売。
If I take one bowl of Captain Crunch's peanut butter cereal, part of this balanced breakfast, and I add another bowl of Captain Crunch's peanut butter cereal, what have I got?
A happy elephant.
That sums it up.
I got guinea pigs, horses, elephants.
Captain Crunch cereal brings you 3 fun new animal stamp albums.
He hops 40 miles per hour.
There's one Smedley Zoo Pals, or CB's Farm Animals, or Captain's House Pets in each specially marked box of Captain Crunch.
Discover a world beyond your wildest dreams. Discover Atari. Pioneers in coin video games like Centipede, Tempest, and Asteroids that challenge you, excite you, test you like never before. Discover the Atari that opened your eyes to the world's most popular home video games like Space Invaders, Missile Command, and Warlords. Discover the Atari that brought you a home computer truly designed for the home. Sophisticated for advanced needs, yet simple enough for your child to use. Compose music, play advanced games, manage your finances, all at the touch of the button. Discover Atari. And discover how far you can go.
M&M's プレーンチョコレート。
私はフレッシュでカリッとしたピーナッツ。美味しいミルクチョコレートでたっぷり。
私たちはキャンディーで軽くシャワー。
だからお口で溶けて手に溶けない。OK、レッツゴー。M&M's ミルクチョコレート。
お口で溶けて手に溶けない。M&M's。スケスケサクサク。明治スナックピックアップ。
Ace McCloud and Doc Terror, each sold separately.
Trouble and rubber, Jake! Energize assault mode! Let's do it! I name this Doc Terror down! Centurions! Take this! Energize the power mode! Bombs away! Fire! Now it's Doc Terror Fall! Right, Jake? Right, Ace!
New Centurions, Jake Rockwell, Ace McCloud, and Doc Terror come as shown, each sold separately.
Dirk knows everybody has a style of their own. So the next time you're out to say something about yourself, remember this. And so does the great taste of Dirks with Redford.
Peter, do we ever cover steak with ketchup? Hamburger is steak, chopped steak, so we use...
A1 steak sauce.
It makes hamburgers taste like...
Steak burgers.
Don't cover it. Discover it with A1.
What up, cyberspace cadets, cyber fanbots galore? Ring that bell because you know it's cool. It's IRATE Prostate. It's Sunday. You know what that means? It's time for ice cream. I'm blasting the mic, I see. Sorry about that, y'all. You didn't need those ears anyway. Every Sunday I love this show. Most people consider ice cream a treat, and to me a treat is talking to somebody I'm interested in and I just want to hang out and know more about, right? Because there's more than just, I think when we see people on YouTube, we don't realize that there's more than what they're saying when you get their content. And in this case is no different. This guy's been around forever. It probably predates me for sure. But I've run into him. I've been in a couple of streams with him, but we've never hung out one-on-one and just kick that bobo, as we say down here in Alabama. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce Vash Lancette. Welcome.
Hey, on the ice cream.
That's right.
Yeah, this is awesome. Like there have actually been times where I've watched your live streams and I'm like, well, I don't see it really happening with me that much, and
why not, man?
So that's
awesome. Yeah, man. All right. So all right, so what we do here, all right, is I've got questions, we start with YouTube, and then when we're complete, we'll be back, talking about YouTube. And the first question I always ask is, how long have you been on YouTube? What drew you to YouTube? How long has that relationship been, and what made you want to create content?
Well, I had a passion for films and movies and cinematic type of stuff, but like Kubrick was one of my favorite filmmakers, with like how detail oriented he was. But it was mainly I wanted to entertain others. Like if I could make somebody forget they were having a bad day for 5 minutes, then I think that I helped out the world in a way.
Yeah,
right.
Definitely, man. That's kind of a spiritual thing, right? Yeah. So, all right. So, what's the idea behind your persona? That your name is Vash Lancette Token Dargan, and where does that tell the story about that? How that evolved?
Well, all right. So, I had originally created this. I was a part of the furry community, and I had created a persona, like comic character that I wanted to make art of.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the original, but since I've actually turned away from quite a bit of that community because of various events that happened in that community, and I just left. But I had the character, so if I had ownership of the character, that's like having ownership of a Marvel character. So, I was like, well, I mean, it is still my character. I still own it. So why not use it as like a mascot and maybe eventually have like a written story where I make like a cartoon or something.
That's a great idea, man. So you want to say hey to some people in the chat? and I forgot to give them their directions. So let's say hi to Turish, Check Your Logic, Jack Fairley, Trippy Cast, Uzi Q. I salute you all, and I will kiss Uzi later because it's Valentine's Day. I almost said Halloween. What the fuck? Anyway, so you'll see Maggie Rose and KKA. I'm not going to say the first letter, man. I think it's tripping stuff because I'm having stuff labeled as QAnon shit. Undead Ramen, greetings. All right, and I believe that Slappy Get Right was in here early with memes of destruction. So, all right, Fat Andy, Bubble, Functional. All right, damn, we got some peeps in the gallery tonight. All right, so moving on, question wise. So how much of what what people see when you're doing your thing online, would you say is the real you?
To be honest, there's times in my live streams where I'll be playing League of Legends, and I know that my nephews like to watch my videos and like to search me up, so I know that eventually they're gonna come across this too. And one of the things that I do on my in my League of Legends live streams is there's times where I'll want to smoke a cigarette, but I know it's bad, so I'll actually turn off my camera in order to have my cigarette because I don't want to, be a bad impression on them.
That's very thoughtful, man.
Yeah. And so I try and do that because, you never know who's going to be watching you and who's going to be inspired by what you're doing.
I heard that, man. Let's see. All right, so I love asking this question. Is there a food from your childhood that you just couldn't stand, but now as an adult you actually like it?
Oh my goodness. I would say green olives.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any story behind that, or just
I never really liked the taste, but I slowly developed the taste over time.
Right.
That's one of them that comes to mind.
Okay. Short and sweet on that one. All right, so so describing your family in one word, what would you say growing up?
It wasn't the best, but whenever you can't do anything, you do what you can, It wasn't it got pretty bad, but ultimately that's what makes us into the people we are now.
Right, exactly. So who would you say is the most influential person on you as a child?
Let's see here. If we're going for a fictional character, I would probably say Goemon from Mystical Ninja, and I know that it's a parody of Legend of Zelda, but I still liked the Goemon the Good story over the Robin Hood deal for England.
Right.
It's a Japanese story about a person that he was against the wealthy that were ruling, and what he would do is he would steal jewels and stuff, and he'd run on top of the rooftops and just throw it into the streets.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, another culture would have something similar to that went through a feudal period too. That's interesting.
Yeah,
interesting parallels.
Yeah,
in the story.
But I mean, if we're gonna go with familial, I'd probably go with my grandpa.
Okay. So what kind of kid were you in school, or just what kind of kid were you when you were little before school? How about that?
Well, I mean, I was more or less the kind of the ghost. Like, I would stick to my books and I'd, play video games, but never really had the ability to get out of my shell to talk to other, people.
So, going through school, what was that like?
Well, I mean, you don't get invited to too many parties. And you're not really that popular. You're kind of in the middle because, school was always a cliquish kind of thing. So I was more or less, I wasn't like the completely unpopular, but I was never anywhere near the high popularity thing. But, for the most part, I had a few friends that I'd, play Super Nintendo, 64, Xbox, stuff like that with.
All right, so Pinoid News comes in with $5. I heard Vash has a mouth on the back of his neck and chew by nodding his head. What up, my brother?
What's up, Pinoid?
That's silly, man.
Yeah.
The silly black-pilled man. And oh my. It went through him. All right, so
well, Pinoid, I hope that the only bug that you're catching today is the love bug. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. It is Valentine's Day, so happy VD, everyone. Keep throwing that out there. All right, so do you have a favorite holiday or season that kind of sparks you, that makes you excited?
I would probably say like mid to late spring. Yeah, like where it's just cool enough to not be freezing, but it's warm enough to enjoy, taking that first dip into the water, casting out that fishing line.
You like to fish?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. So all right, so if you could go back in time and talk to little Vash at the age of 8, what would you tell him?
One, invest in Bitcoin.
Yeah, you slid in my DMs and said something about that. How's that going?
Right now, the ones that I invested in kind of crashed a little bit, but I've been doing it with no monetary investment personally. I've just been using free money.
Well, there you go. That's always smart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Play with your winnings. All right, so elementary, middle school, what was that like? Being socialized and going and learning shit. And did you play sports or did you?
I tried sports. Like, I did a little bit of. I mainly liked chess. Or I'd play like the Magic the Gathering. It wasn't really that interesting, just pretty boring, but I did win a couple trophies in chess.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you're a pretty lethal chess player then.
Well, I mean, it was a small town in Arkansas.
Yeah, I bet you could beat Pinoid's ass out of it. Just saying.
Well, I don't know. If he wants to play around, he can just slide into.
I got a feeling Pinoid knows how to play chess. Just saying. Just a feeling.
He might be playing 3D chess though.
So, were you a rambunctious kid? Were you active? Easily distracted, like most males are?
Yeah. I was. I actually, had a high school sweetheart, but that didn't turn out very good. But the one I'm with now, I'm really happy with. So it all works out in the end.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. We're getting there, man. Hold on. Yeah. What was the craziest thing you did as a kid?
Craziest thing. Well, let's see here. Like middle school or high school?
Either or, anything.
Okay.
That sticks out.
I would probably say around that age, I would go rappelling at along, different cliff sides and bluffs. It was really beautiful, but I look at some of the pictures that I took back then where I'm just leaning against a cliffside, and I'm like, if the wind would have blown just slightly in one direction, like I would have fallen. But
you were doing this without a belay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no shit. So you were free rappelling. Did you ever do it Aussie style?
With the harness and stuff?
Yeah. Where you go down face first?
I tried that, but I got hung up and I needed somebody to help me.
Yeah, I did it a couple, several times when I was working with kids, and it was just it's against human nature to walk backwards off of a cliff. I'm just saying, there's a certain I don't know, a part of myself I had to conquer before I could get over there, man. And then once you do it, you're just like, oh shit, this is fun, man.
There was one exercise where the instructor was telling me to just slide back and let everything work as it is, and where he was letting me do it, the rock wasn't completely flat surf, or not flat surface, but I guess where one leg was leaning towards one area more than the other, and it made me to where I had to run up the wall because I didn't want to slam against it, but I made it to the other side and climbed back up.
Sweet. All right, so let's see. So do you remember the first time that you realized that girls were something more than just to pull pigtails?
Well, yeah. That would probably be at 13, 14.
Yeah. You remember, all right, so your first time with a girl, what was that like?
Well, it was like a pep rally type place where we originally talked, and I mustered up the courage just to ask her out, asked her if she liked what kind of food she liked.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And she, said, why not? And it worked out for a couple of years.
So, all right, so high school, were your grades okay?
I didn't really focus on them. Like, my test scores were good, but I never really did that much.
Let's see, What about so girlfriend? Or did you play in the band? Did you? Do you play music? Are you a musical person?
No, I did have an appreciation for art, and I did take a couple of music classes that would this is art and music appreciation.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yeah, it studies like the progression of music and art, but I didn't really play much of an instrument myself. Vocals a little bit.
Okay. Let's see. So, do you so you plan going on to any of your reunions for high school?
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just pretty much just go on with day-to-day routine. Don't really give it much thought.
Trippy, don't write any checks with your mouth that you can't cash with that ass. He's saying, he says, Vash made love to a toilet paper roll on graduation day. We actually double teamed it. High fived a lot. What the fuck?
Tips. Just the tip.
He crazy. Very there's a bunch of really cool, fun people around here, man. And it's just there's just not enough Sundays in a month to get to all of them. Man. All right, so we're done with high school. All right, so what about me? What was the first concert you ever went to?
Oh, the first concert would be it was over in Little Rock, Arkansas. Edge Fest, whenever they were debuting Five Finger Death Punch for their first album.
Okay.
Yeah, I got to see them, Lacuna Coil, Rob Zombie, Godsmack, and Caesar. So pretty decent, Am I cutting in and out?
No, I thought you were. I didn't think you were finished. I'm sorry.
Pretty decent show, pretty decent lineup, I guess.
Okay. I just wanted to say real quick, hey, to Smoke Steve. I met this guy the other night, and I hung out with him a little bit last night. He's a cool dude. I'm probably going to see if he wants to do this show here, because we're talking about some stuff, music and shit. Talking about guitar players. Yeah. All right. So we talked about our music. What about the first time you got fucked up? What was that like? Or have you ever been fucked up?
Doing drugs.
It can mean anything. A lot of people think it's alcohol. Some people say drunk, whatever.
Whatever overindulgence of whatever vice, I guess.
Yes.
I started smoking the green stuff at like around 16.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now considered to most of my friends a connoisseur of weed.
Okay. I totally vibe with that too, man.
Like I can pretty much look at a bud and smell it and give you roughly what strain and what sativa indica level it is.
Oh wow. That's pretty esoteric there, dude. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Man, my nose is I don't know, it's just I can't smell it like I used to. But I still understand the Christmas tree aspect. And and see, skunk weed used to mean a good thing here, but people, I don't know, they've reappropriated my language. Oh, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I've had my buddy Sid visit me every once in a while, you know.
Okay. Oh, all right. So yeah. All right. So you kind of all right. That's kind of the vibe I will always like try to rock with, is because there's a certain element of psychedelia that must be acknowledged and saluted. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't really hurt you.
Have you ever gone to a show like Trippin'?
Yeah, but I usually like playing certain types of video games. And they're pretty awesome. You know, you don't want to play a scary video game. You want to play something that's like, you know, tranquil or really vibrant colors.
Right.
Yeah.
That's great. Are you more into mushrooms, or are you more into the D25?
I would say I'm more into the D25, but I usually, if I go through like a really heavy depressive state, then I'll probably take a few shrooms.
Right. You know, people are starting to do that microdosing thing. You know, and I think that's wise. I don't think that, you know, it's like we're of this earth, and I think that anything else of this earth, that's I don't know. I think philosophically, I think it's just as valid, if not more valid, than something, you know, artificially created, synthetically created, even though they may work, right? All right. So, all right. So, talk about. All right. So, what happens after high school? You go to college? Or?
Well, like at first, I tried to go into the military.
Okay.
And then that, you know, didn't really work out because of my back. Like I've just always had a fucked up back. You know, but I went through a little bit of basic, and then I came back to Arkansas, and then I decided to go into Job Corps for a little while, which was kind of fun for office administration.
Yeah. So, what about dating, and what was that like at this time?
For dating for Job Corps.
Or for, you know, going out of high school and into young adulthood.
Well, I mean, for Job Corps, you kind of don't want to, especially if you're living on campus. Those are not the ladies that you're looking for that. You'll kind of walk back with something itching.
I can hear you grinning through that. Nice.
Well, I mean, I remember one time there was a chick that was over there, and she was like, you know, because I was the snack guy over on my dorm. I was the guy that you came over if you're wanting some chips or some ramen noodles or some, you know, Snickers or flaming hot Cheetos, you know.
There you
go. Like, you know, I was making a buck. But like I remember this one chick, I was at like this pavilion where they let us smoke like cigarettes, and this chick goes like, "I'll show you my titties for a Star Crunch." Like that's the caliber that you're getting over where I was. So I did not want any of that.
So, yeah, you didn't want to risk a dose, as they say. Right? Yeah. That's funny, man. All right. So, So, did you say you're currently married?
No, but we've been together for about 3-4 years.
Okay. So it's a thing. Because you talked about a young'un earlier.
I got a kid with her. He's 1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's walking around. talking back and everything else. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I bet that's. What is it like? Because I don't know. What's it like? Watching a little human like develop and grow and.
Oh my god, it's so fast. Like they could take a nap, and you will visibly see their skeletal structure grow whenever they wake back up.
Wow, that's
Like,
kind of
you'll tell the difference. It's an experience.
That's awesome. All right, so let's shift gears a little bit. All right, we've gotten into the personal stuff. Let's get into your aesthetics. So all right, you talked earlier about Kubrick, and this is like this is the part where you talk about things like your favorite horror director. Maybe I always start with horror because usually a lot of it tends to draw people like us.
Horror director, that's pretty hard. Let's see here. I mean, I do like the classic Evil Dead. Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell was going on with the later Hellraisers, but those were like, I mean, I guess they're charming in their own right.
I think the first two are like, the second one's really more like the story, the Hellbound Heart. But in retrospect, I think 1 and 2 are just, that's what I would just take and just leave the rest, just, because they're just, it's like, okay, we get it. You think of more different Cenobites and shit. It's like,
if we were gonna go with iconic, we'd have to mention Exorcist too.
Oh God, yeah. Have you ever seen Exorcist 3, man?
Yeah,
dude. Is that not a great film?
Yeah, I mean, I was only wondering like what it could have been if they did the same subliminal messaging techniques that they did in the first one.
No doubt, dude. That would have been incredible. I know exactly what you mean too. All right, so let's talk with Kubrick a little bit. All right, so what are your favorite Kubrick movies? They come just off the top of your head.
I would say one of them off the top of my head I would want to say AI, but it's not a Kubrick movie, but it is one. But I would also have to say, Space Odyssey.
What about films like Clockwork Orange or anything else like Eyes Wide Shut, any of that stuff? Full Metal Jacket.
Clockwork Orange, awesome. Full Metal Jacket. I like the fact that the attention to detail that Kubrick did, like whenever he's on the firing range with Gomer Pyle, it actually shows that one of the magazines that Gomer Pyle sets down is actually a full magazine, which means that he was planning to do that all.
Oh, really?
Like, stuff like that is really awesome for directing.
Yeah, he is, man. Very, very, very. I love his use of color and stuff, and black and white. He's really a photographer, director. He's very talented, man.
One of his earlier works that I enjoyed was, I think it's Barry Lyndon or Lyndon Barry.
Oh, yeah. That was the first one that was shot in 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Way ahead of his time on that shit. I think it was...
how he gets you to like really relate to a character and then have that character just die in like the next couple scenes.
Yeah.
Before it was like this is before Game of Thrones did it. You know.
Yeah. And really, to be honest, Barry Lyndon is probably more difficult a movie for me to watch. You know what I'm saying? But it's still a great film. You know, I don't think anything he's ever done was bad. You know, Lolita, that's a great film. Doctor Strangelove, all the early stuff that he did. It's all classic. My favorite is probably Clockwork Orange. What?
Oh, I was just quoting a line from Doctor Strangelove. Mein Führer, I can walk.
Well, you could tell, like the guy that plays Kiss Off almost busts out laughing during that scene. It's all improv, man. Peter Sellers is a brilliant man. Weird. I don't know. Have you ever seen the bio they did on him? Is like, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's real or not, but and he's an interesting element. You know, he played like 3 characters in that movie, 3 or 4. He played the president. He played Dr. Strangelove. He played the British guy at the Air Force station where Colonel Ripper had sent the planes to go bomb Russia. All right. Well, let's shift gears again. All right, we were talking about movies a little bit. What about science fiction?
Oh man, I have a little guilty pleasure of watching Mystery Science Theater 3000. Totally not a big fan of that.
Do you have a favorite science fiction author? Anybody you like to read?
Well, there's the classics of Orwell, you know, and I honestly like, I more or less like the comic books. I like going into comic books whenever it goes into fiction.
Okay, so what's your favorite comic book or comic book run?
Oh man, that's another hard question. Well, I would have to go with everybody would say Batman. I personally like Batman Who Laughs because seeing the Joker and Batman have to combine forces to take down a foe is always really awesome to see.
Yeah, that sounds interesting, actually.
Well, because the multiverse, right?
Yeah.
Well, this is a Batman that succumbed to the Joker's.
The gas, right? Yeah.
Because he ends up killing the Joker, so the Joker, launches this thing that gives him this toxin that makes him become the Joker. And then he becomes the Batman Who Laughs, and it's a very interesting introspective of drug addiction, I believe. Like whenever I read through it,
that's kind of cool. The Man Who Laughs actually is the name of a movie that stars Conrad Veidt. And the character that he plays was the inspiration for the Joker.
And I like how they pay homage to that too.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. So that's writerly, as I would say. Very, very cool stuff. And I haven't read it, so that's something I may actually pick up. I mean, the last time I read comics, it was like 3 or 4 years ago, and they were getting so bad. I was just like, "Fuck this!" Dude.
There's a few hidden gems, but you gotta dig through a lot of shit to find.
Exactly. And it's just like, and I don't know, man. I've lost patience, and invest in the 3 good, and then they change the art is horrible, and the I don't know, some of the, I don't know, anyway. The last good thing I read was a thing called Sex Criminals. And did you ever read that?
No.
It's by these like super liberal dudes that are idiots on Twitter, but man, it's about this couple who have these powers, like when they have an orgasm, time stops. Right? And so what they, it starts out at the story, of course they do criminal shit. Well, there's a police apparently.
It's never a bad thing though. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Would it stop while it's in there? That's my first thought. Like,
do you know Miastra theory entropy? You see that?
Yeah. He's an awesome dude. He's one of my server admins.
So he's really fam. Cool. All right. Well, you're a fam. We're going to wrench you now, sir. The wrench no state continues. Be good, and don't make me bop you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, like I use most of the people that I hang around are pretty stand-up people,
Yeah.
There's obviously the other corners of the internet, but I usually don't like to hang around them.
I hear you, man. I don't know about you, but I learned the hard way.
Oh man, I mean, we've both been a part of a couple of different lore.
I know, dude. Man.
Yeah.
All right. So, all right. Go ahead, please. Yes.
But yeah, it's nuts, the people that you get to meet on the internet.
Yeah.
That's all I was about to say.
Yeah, no shit. All right, so what about video games? Talk to me about that. Have you got a favorite?
Well, let's see here. I'll just list off my favorites for each console. That'd be a little bit easier.
Okay.
SNES, I would have to go with a game called Terranigma, which is the last game from a company that was known as Quintet. They went bankrupt because they chose not to send it over to America. They released it in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And then there's Nintendo 64, I guess I would say, is this chameleon game that makes you have to use its tongue to do like various puzzles.
That sounds interesting, actually, man. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Any other? What about PC? Or
oh yeah, PC. You would be able to tell that I used to play League of Legends heavily. But unfortunately, the company isn't listening to the fan base as much as it should. And that's kind of sad to see. The gap.
There's a lot of that going around.
Yeah.
So do you have a PS4 or?
Yeah, but like PlayStation 4, I play. I occasionally play with Gaming and Yelling on some Street Fighter.
Okay.
I've been playing Hollow Knight, which is pretty awesome. There was one time where I played through Bloodstained, And Maestra also came over and played through it. That was pretty fun.
Cool.
He got 100%, and well, I actually kind of stopped at like 90 something.
I don't know, man. Some of that stuff's like too hard for me. I'm too smooth brain for some of that shit.
Yeah, but it helps keep your like, you know, cognitive abilities sharp, you know, problem solving and stuff.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I'm just too concrete, right? You know, being more creative. You know, use my creativity in a different way. All right. So, all right. What about favorite television series? You got anything?
I just recently finished this series called Chance on Hulu.
Oh man, with the dude that played a house in it.
Yeah.
Dude, that was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, I finished both seasons. I thoroughly enjoyed how they wrapped up all of the plot lines in a bow on both seasons.
Yeah, that was really, man, the first season too, it was especially like had a heavy noir kind of trip to it, man. And you know, and his helper friend thing that you don't know if he's really, you know, if he's full of shit or is he for real, right? You know?
Yeah, the D. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. D. Yeah, that guy. Yeah. That's a great story, man. That is highly recommended. Hulu is probably the best deal in town. You know, $7. You know, if you want to put up with the fucking commercials, man. You know, I mean, we've been seeing them all our life, so why not? You know, anyway.
I do it occasionally.
Yeah, it's good stuff, man. All right, so what about anime series? What's your favorite anime series?
That would be a list. Let's see. Well, my favorite animes, like, you gotta go with the original Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
People keep telling me to watch that, and I keep wanting.
We grew up with it, you know.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, it's got a little bit of bias, almost like how a lot of people enjoy Akira.
Right.
Know?
Yeah, I like Akira, man, because it was, you know, it came out when I was, I got it on VHS. I love that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, you'd probably enjoy like Dragon Ball, but like the thing I have against Dragon Ball though is once they blew up a mountain, that's about as much scale as you could do, you know. Like after that, then you know, like you could blow up a planet, but does it really matter the significance anymore? You know, whenever you're a planet smasher,
right?
But that's one of the only things I have against Dragon Ball, and they like to scream for 30 minutes to an hour. But the other favorites that I would say is Case Closed or Detective Conan was a good one. Inuyasha, Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I've seen it. I like Cowboy Bebop too.
Yeah, Cowboy Bebop was just amazing, and how they ended it with Real Folks Blues Part 2 was just perfect for Spike.
Nice.
Yeah, especially whenever the series just keeps baiting you into that fight, and then they finally have it, and it ends up in a tie, you know. Then there's the obvious Trigun, which funny story was that a few friends of mine that were into anime before I started getting into anime. I would spike my hair, and us being kids, they would just say Vash and shit and call me Vash because I'd have spiky hair, because I'd use hair gel. But and then eventually I learned where they were referencing it, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. All right, well, I'll let that stick.
Cool. And something I want to note, if you're listening to the recording of this, take time and read the chat, because all these people that I regard quite highly are coming by and just giving a lot of love to this dude. And Gaming Yelling just popped by and said, "Love you, Vash." That's cool, man. That says a lot about you.
I'm just smiling and giggling over here, watching the chat go by.
Nice. All right. So where's that part? Do you have any like scars or tattoos or piercings?
Well, I used to have a few piercings. I had one eyebrow piercing at one point. I had a couple of left ear piercings and one right ear piercing. Because I was told that if I was going into an office job, that if you have both ears pierced and you walk around with both ears pierced, then you won't get as much flack from the drama in the office area. I honestly would love to see a psychological study on that.
Yeah. I feel what you're saying there. What kind of work was it?
Just, secretary, making sure that files are in order, making sure that, whatever data is on a presentation's in order, stuff like that.
Right. So what's the most useless talent you have?
Most useless talent. I can bring up some of the weirdest, known things from pop culture icons, knowing about the fact that Nicolas Cage had a bit of a gambling habit, and that's the reason why he was in a bunch of films where he just didn't have any energy in his performance.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Hey, Skip, I see you out there, man. Staying out here with Mr. Vash Lancette, having a good time. The Token Dargan is awesome. Very laid back, and I like it like that, man. You know me. I'm into the molasses over here.
Well, I mean, you and me are both from the South, so we just kind of we do talk a little bit slower than our northern friends, because you get like Pinoid where he's like, "Yo, what's the issue? I gotta talk as fast as I can to make sure that I get the statements done as fast as possible, so that way I don't waste anyone's time."
Yeah, and I'm like, hold on now, don't be in such a hurry. Let's just calm down and all you got to do is talk, man.
Yeah, chew on it for a second.
Yeah, man. Just like barbecue. Good conversation should be like barbecue, low and slow.
Yeah.
So in 40 years, what do you think people will be nostalgic for? This is a good question.
Oh, man. In 40 years. Okay, so we're currently nostalgic for the 90s and some rise for the 20s that people are trying to do dubstep to again. I don't really know. I mean, with the way that the world is going, like, is that counting if we're going to go into a civil war or not? Like, it's a lot to think about, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna state for the recording part of this is that it's February the 14th, 2021. That's when things are not as fun as they used to be.
Yeah, I mean, at least the energy in the air to, you know, 2 versions of America, because we have 2 national anthems now, apparently. You know, it's I don't know how, but nostalgia, I would probably say we would see people trying to do an imitation of what the people are now trying to do of like the 90s.
Right.
So they would have a regurgitation of an imitation of what it was imitating, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like a Fish concert. It's like the Grateful Dead, but you know, it's Fish.
Yeah.
you see, you get it, man. You get exactly what I'm talking about. I knew a lot of Deadheads and Fish people. You know. Let's see. All right, so if you could know the total and absolute truth to one question, what would you ask?
Let's see. If I could know the truth to one question, what would I ask? I would probably be like something like, does humanity actually have a purpose for the universe? And if so, what is it? You know? Like, I'd try and put it in that type of phrasing so that way I wouldn't just get a simple yes or no.
You can get a dig that answer up.
Yeah.
So are you in Arkansas, did you say?
Yeah.
Are you getting like freezing rain and snow and shit?
Oh God, yeah. I had to actually call off work for 2 days.
Oh yeah.
We have we don't get much snow. We get heavy ice because it can drop to be so cold that the ice will just freeze on the road.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll look wet, but it'll be slick. So, you know.
Definitely. Well, we got it coming towards us. I just saw Skeptalk talking about it being like it's 15 degrees in middle of Texas. So, and snow. So that's hey man, I welcome it. You know, it just, to me, it rubs salt in the wound of the climate change people, because they can't tell you what's going to happen. It used to be, you know, the Great Freeze, the global cooling, and then it was global warming, and then it became climate change, because climate changes 4 times a year.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, man. I'm kind of being prickish right here. Just got an attitude.
I came across an article of, you know how the wind turbines were supposed to be green?
Right.
Well, now they're turning out that they can't recycle them, so they're filling up landfills.
See, and the process where you have to make them, you still have to use fossil fuel. You still have to burn fossil fuel in the process, or use it to actually make the housing, you know, out of plastic and stuff. People don't get that, and that's a repetitive theme here on my channel. That the fact that you know, everything plastic that you have, it came from fossil fuel. So there's that.
Well, I mean, we're a lot of people look at how Generation Z. Have you seen how they've been trying to say that they can shift realities now?
Yeah, I was watching that the other day, and I'm like going, "Holy shit! These kids are just realizing they've got an imagination."
Well, I mean, to me, it's like, I'm like, there was a word for this. This is lucid dreaming, and no, it's not an alternate reality you fuck with.
Right. Well, you know, it's like, all right, did you read any of the Carlos Castaneda books back in the day?
I might have come across them.
Yeah, well, usually, man, people with psychedelic indulgences usually are attracted to it because of the use of psychedelics. Anyway, never mind. We'll move on. If you could go back in time and spend a week with anybody in history, who would it be and why?
Oh man, in history, I would probably go back and try and pick the mind of maybe Calvin Coolidge.
You
know, talk to I know Calvin Coolidge. Who's that? Well, that's one of our presidents.
Yeah.
A lot of people know about him because, you know, it was a pretty peaceful presidency for the most part. You know.
Yeah, there were actually, there's actually, we've had presidents that good shit has happened under.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Nobody was really after them. Like, it was a pretty quiet time. But,
all right, say hi to cute, sexy hoe out there. I see you. Where is it? Oh, Mr. Scott, Twitch. Hey, man. I salute you. I just wanted to make sure we caught that cute, sexy hoe. If that is indeed the truth.
Apparently, there's a cute, sexy hoe. Hi.
All right, man. So, all right. So, what is the best piece of advice you ever received?
Well, I mean, I would probably say one of them would be what my dad was able to get to me, which was don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff.
Mm-hmm. Cool. All right, so this is the point. All right, so chat, if you've got any questions for Vash, go ahead and pop them in, start popping them in, and with multiple question marks while I go through what I call the Lipton questions. I don't know, James Lipton used to do this show called Inside the Actor Studio on PBS. And he would do these really in-depth interviews with people like Jack Nicholson, you know, shit like that. But everybody that he talked to, he would always ask him this set of 10 questions. And he passed away last year, and Larry King's passed away. So kind of an homage to both of those guys. I like to ask these. It's kind of like a word association thing, more than it is just, you know, it's like what's your favorite word? That's one of them.
Favorite word. I would probably say peculiar.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Impossible.
All right. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
Let's see here. Creatively, I would probably say like inspirational speeches or motivational speeches. Spiritually, well, I mean, you know, taking a big old fat sacrifice for the tiki gods is always a decent thing. And
emotionally,
I guess emotionally, like if we're thinking,
okay. So, all right, and then what turns you off?
I'm trying to think about it.
Okay.
How emotional it would be. I would say stories where the odds weren't in the hero's favor, but they, you know, managed to make it work anyway.
And that turns you off, right?
Oh, no.
Oh yeah, so that, all right, that turns you on emotionally. I get you. Okay. So that, yeah, what turns you off? I'm sorry, man. I'm got all confused and shit.
Let's see. No worries. Let's see here. What turns me off? I would say people that generally look over other people and they don't notice that they're humans too. You know, like it doesn't matter what you make, you know. If you like your job and you like the money that you make, then that's okay. Like, you know, but it's life's not about looking in other people's bowls. It's about being satisfied with what's in yours, you know.
That's right. Yeah. So you don't have to look outside for internal gratification. That's good. Yeah. I like that. All right, so let's see. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh, well, let's see here. I'd probably say fuck.
Okay. What noise? All right. So, what noise or sound do you love?
I would say sizzling bacon.
Sounds good, actually. All right. So what sound or noise do you hate?
Whenever people are like eating with their mouth open.
Oh, dude. Okay.
Like that repetitive smacking.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Put you off there. All right. What profession other than you own would you like to attempt?
Which profession would I like to attempt? Voice acting. I've been wanting to get into it, but it seems like you have to have a friend that's in it in order to get into it.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. What profession would you not like to do?
Fast food.
I heard that.
I've done years of that, and now no more.
All right. So, and this is the last one. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Your internet browser history isn't the worst.
Nice. All right. So, chat, are you throwing some questions in here? Are y'all just being just lazy? Not
shy. I don't know, but like, you know, I'm usually an open book to everybody. So,
well, we can talk about this while they're still throwing stuff up if they want to. Come on now. Yeah. Johnny Hellcat's got to have a question. Phenoid's got to have a question. All right. All right. So, who would you say is a criminally undersubscribed YouTuber in your corner of the YouTuberverse? Who you want to promote?
I would probably say like There's so many of them that are coming through my mind right now, because I do watch, like, I do watch, like, people, like, I watch Trippy, I watch, The Badger Show, Black Guy TV, Unknown Archive. I mean, there's so many that I could mention that, they're all really decent content for what they do.
Sure. And I totally agree with all those choices. They're really good. So what YouTuber is way overhyped?
Way overhyped. I would probably say H3H3.
Interesting. You're not alone. I'll tell you that right now. All right, so Johnny Hellcat's got a question for you. Do you think Spike lived at the end of Cowboy Bebop?
Ooh, going with the game, going with the anime theories. I personally think that he might have died there, knowing that he killed Vicious, because the conversations that they were having that led to it was, one of them saying that the other one be a part of their dream, and they're the only ones that can wake each other up. And with Spike talking about how in one eye he was looking at the past because it was a false eye, whereas the other eye he was looking only towards his future. He's with what he lost, he's living in pretty much a dream state. So the only one that could show him that he's still alive would be Vicious, and that was the whole crescendo, so to speak, of that episode. So I believe that he passed. He died.
That's a damn deep answer, dude. It was a good question, Johnny. Thank you. Anybody else? Come on, throw me in. Do you have anything new content-wise that you have in the works? Something you want to promote for you?
Well, currently not, but whenever I some sufficient internet, or whenever my artists actually help with my production value, then I might be able to run a couple of shows called Lancette Lobby, where I try and take one subject and completely dissect that subject for a couple hours.
Right. All right. So I just put the link to your YouTube in the chat, and in the description. There's also Vash's Twitter and his Facebook.
Yeah. The reason why I don't Facebook, my personal Facebook being out, is because you can Google my name and you'll find everything. So I tried to, just be as transparent as possible on the internet.
I feel you, man. At some point,
Yeah. I mean, like I've had a couple of different people from our areas come up and visit me, and it was awesome because they're like, well, I saw that your address is roughly around here. I'm like, yeah, we can go and get some fucking Thai food, man. Like, what, you down to hang out?
That's cool, man.
Like, people forget that some people just don't mind people coming around. Like, apparently that's scary these days.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I was watching this thing about it, social distancing and lepers and shit. It was actually a homily by a priest, and he got it kind of deep, man. It was kind of cool. You know, we're having the social distance. They were doing it back then. You know, you couldn't go within 6 paces of a person with leprosy, right? So anyway, I thought that was pretty, you know, bang on. You know, it's like we've been here before. So we can, if that means, all right. So if we've been there before, that means we can get out of it because they did. Just saying. Yeah. And before we part, man, it's tradition to literally seal your channel. And we provide a final word for the chat, man. We're at the end of the rope, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't too painful, you know. I hope I wasn't too cringeworthy on here.
No, you did great, man. No shit. It's like, you know, I had no idea, you know, that I always got this kind of mellow vibe off of you, but I didn't realize how laid back you were, or how psychedelic you were. So we've got that in common for sure. So I appreciate that aesthetic, man.
Yeah, like every once in a while, there have been times where I've went to like commune stuff, where I would go to like a festival gathering of, you know, hippies and gypsies. And that's pretty fun. It's pretty awesome.
Sweet. And on that note, I guess, man, let's go ahead and say goodbye to the chat. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, we'll say goodbye and we'll be out. So give me 1 second. Here we go.
All right, later, guys.
Later, fam. We'll see y'all tomorrow with Rebecca Fairley. Next week, it'll be Sunburst, Moonsock's wife in the chair. So y'all really definitely want to see that, all right?